Shalom, shalom. Call HALALYAM law. YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, QADASH. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great MILLSTONE, to teach them well. Peace and salutations be to all for the elect. My brother Tazam Gabar coming at you from the Prophets in Babylon camp here in Tampa, Florida. And this lesson is going to be going into this Newsbreak article, which is telling you in the headlines, it says, Doomsday clock moves to 90 seconds to midnight as nuclear threat rises. All right. So pretty much the time to when all hell breaks loose, when shit really hits the fan, is at 90 seconds. It moved from 100 seconds to 10 seconds, and it was previously at 100 seconds for a few months. I believe it went to 100 seconds during 2020. If I'm mistaken, you can correct brothers. You brothers can correct me in the comment board. Either 2020 or 2021 is when it moved to 100 seconds. And now here in 2023, beginning of the year, it has moved to 90 seconds. And I believe it's going to hit 0 seconds this year, man. Lord willing. Now these devils can't predict the day of the Lord, the coming of the day of the Lord. But they know, themselves. They know what their situation is, as according to how much more they can supply the people. Because when they can't supply the people anymore, that's when shit's gonna hit the fan. They're basing it off of nuclear threats with Russia and the war going on with Russia and Ukraine. But really, we know what they're really basing it off of, man. We know they're really basing it off of these people losing their shit and this country being overthrown. As according to that nuclear war, no man can tell the time nor day, when the Lord is going to pull up in the midst of that nuclear war, even Yahawashi himself does not know, so first we can start off with grabbing that. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse, let's start at verse 36, it's just verse 36. It says, the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 36, but of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. So only the Most High knows of that day and that hour, when that day is going to be, when that hour is going to be. Only the Most High, the Heavenly Father, knows. Even Yahawashi himself does not know it, man. But the Lord's, telling him to get prepared. Get ready to come down here and slay shit, and I'll give you the green light to go. But Yahawashi doesn't know when the Lord's going to give, the Most High is going to give that green light, when the Father will give the green light, man. But yeah, you got these devils trying to measure the times. They can't really do such things, man. The only ones that can truly measure the times that's on earth right now is, through the RAWCHAA, there's the prophets of the Lord, man. As according to the prophecies that are coming to pass, it's the prophets of the Lord that are measuring the times. And even this devil Esau in the elite seats, when they go to congregate, speak to spiritual demon Satan, they know that their rulership is coming to an end. They just can't tell when this or that is going to pop off, or if this is happening because this is happening. But the prophets can tell you, oh, because this is happening, this is what's going to follow up after. The prophets can tell you these things. Because what? The Lord's dealing with them through the Spirit. Lord willing, we be of that number. This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 1, verse 14. The great day of the Lord, YAHAWASHI, is near. It is near and hasteth, hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord, YAHAWASHI. All right, so it's hastening greatly, man, meaning it's speeding up. The times are speeding up. To where you got these Edomites knowing, even they know that they have but a short time. 90 seconds is not long at all. That's a short time. And they're trying to measure it, but really, they can't really measure it. we know that their time is probably less shorter than they believe it to be. You know, just as we believe our, you know, what the scriptures say, our salvation is nearer than when we believed. You know, our salvation is nearer than when we think it is. You know, it says, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. All right. So the mighty man gonna cry where bitterly? Here in Babylon, man, because this place is gonna get blown to smithereens. It shows you right here in verse 15, that day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess. This is what the devil Esau is trying to predict, you know, but they can't predict that. They don't know when the Lord's going to pull up, because when nuclear war pops off and these nuclear missiles start touching down here on Babylon's soil, that's when the Lord's going to pull up. You know, that's the day of the Lord. But no man knows that day nor hour. It says, a day of thick clouds and a day of clouds and thick darkness. Where's those clouds and thick darkness coming from? Them nuclear missiles. The smoke from those nuclear missiles, man. It says, a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. And I will bring distress upon men, and that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord YAHAWASHI, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, YAHAWASHI's wrath. So they're going to be like blind men, because what? When those nuclear missiles drop, they send off a solar flare where it's like it gets so bright that it blinds you. You know, you can get permanent eye damage from looking at the, you know, at the flash from it, man. You know, even then they had a test of an atomic bomb. It wasn't even a nuclear missile, it was an atomic bomb, where they tested it in the ocean. And the soldiers that were there, standing afar off, you know, miles off in the water, in the boat, they had to cover their eyes and put their hands over their eyelids, you know, because it would be so bright. And even when that's an atomic, how much more nuclear? But even when that happened, they could still see their bones through their eyelids. They can see the bones in their hands through their eyelids, man, you know, from how bright that light was. And not only that, man, you know, after that shockwave hit, you know, it rocked their boat, whatever. They're sitting, had certain men crying, you know, because they never seen such things. But majority of those men from that day forward had died in the next 10 years from radiation poisoning. And that's just an atomic bomb, you know. They said there were 22,000 soldiers. They said, I think around, so like, I'm not even going to quote it because I can't remember. But it was 22,000 soldiers, and most of them, the majority of them had died in the next 10 years, you know, suffering from cancer, from tumors, all sorts of things that radiation causes, you know. And that's just from an atomic bomb. How much more a nuclear missile? How much more 200 million nuclear missiles? You're not making it out of that one, man, you know. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. So you ain't gonna be able to buy your way out of destruction. You ain't gonna be able to bribe the Lord. You ain't gonna be able to bribe a nuclear missile. You know, the Lord gonna drop missiles on your ass, man. You know, and how I always envision it is just like nuclear missiles, boom, the nuclear missile's shooting off. And then once you see him in the air, it's just like everything freezes. And then the Lord pops up in the air in his chariot, you know, and then thousands of chariots with him, you know. And it's like the missiles are slowly falling down, and you're like, you know, and it's like the Lord YAHAWASHI is looking down upon you, man, you know. And that's the time where they just gonna know, oh shit, this is the Lord, you know. He's a so-called black man. The people who we've been persecuting all this time, you know. You're gonna see the prophets, the servants of the Lord getting beamed up into chariots, man. You know, it's like it's gonna happen in slow motion. Like the Lord slows the time down, you know, because time is something that the Lord controls. You know, the Lord deals through time. You know, when you had Joshua going to war against, so like he was going to war against the heathen nations, and the Lord, he had called upon the Lord and asked him to lengthen the day so they can, you know, make a full slaughter to their enemies. And the Lord had stopped the time, man. You know, he stopped till the sun was up in the air for a whole day. You know, nighttime didn't fall upon them. The sun was up in the air and they smote their enemies, you know. And the time, controlling time is nothing to the Lord. Time is a limitation upon us, upon those that are on earth. It's not a limitation in heaven. Time is nothing in heaven, man. you know. But you know, that's how I always picture it, man. It's like the Lord pulling up, it's, you know, everything's happening at normal pace, and then once you see the missiles above you, it's like everything just slows down, and the Lord's there, and it's judgment time. Now you got to give answer for everything you've done. Now you begin to remember all the things you've done against the Lord's men, all the things you said against the Lord, the time you had crossed the prophets and you could have got the truth, and you didn't, and you kept going. You gonna remember all the times that the Lord cried out to you, and you rejected him. You know, then you're going to try to cry out to the Lord, and the Lord going to reject your ass, man. You know, you wicked ass 2/3 Israelites, man. You know, it says, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by his, it says the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. That's when you get that part that the scripture in Revelation said the 10th part of the city fell, you know, because America is made up of 10 FEMA regions. Matter of fact, let me just grab it here. Great earthquake. It talks about the great earthquake. Let me grab it. Just taking this time, my little Salakia, bear with me. Book of Revelations, chapter 11, verse 13. And the same hour, there was a great earthquake. What's that great earthquake? Nuclear missiles. When the nuclear missiles began to hit Babylon, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000 is a complete number, which means just as much as it was meant to be slayed. You know, it says, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the power of heaven. That remnant is going to be what? The elect, man. You know, so 10th part of that city fell, which is America's made up of 10 FEMA regions. So that means 10 out of 10, that's the whole land. You go back to Zephaniah 1 and 18. It says, neither the silver nor the gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. So it's going to get devoured by fire, not just any fire, but thermonuclear fire. This is what these Edomites are trying to prepare for. That's why you see them getting all these bunkers and underground bunkers and basements and shit, stacking up food and shit down there, you know. Like the scripture says here in the book of Isaiah, chapter 2 and verse 19. And they shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth for fear of the Lord, YAHAWASHI, and for the glory of his majesty, when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. All right, so they're going to try to run into those bunkers, man, and try to hide, you know, like the damn cavemen that they are. You know. Let me get back here. It says, back in Zephaniah 1:18, neither the silver nor the gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. Let me grab this. This book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 17. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, meaning nothing, and every shipmaster and all the company and ships and sailors, and as many as trade by seas to the far off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like to this great city? So in 1 hour, Babylon going to be completely demolished. It's going to be taken down, like Demolition Man. You know, it's going to be completely demolished, man. You know, ain't going to be nothing left of Babylon. And the people that traded with her and got rich off of her and all this shit, man, they're going to be in there. They're going to be standing afar off watching the smoke. You're going to see the smoke rising up to the sky all the way from over there in the Middle East, man. You know, they're going to be over there weeping and crying because they ain't, you know, they know what time it is, you know. But, yeah, matter of fact, I think that was it on that, man. You know, we grab this scripture and close out. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 42. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. All right, so our brothers, listen to this lesson, man. Make sure y'all paying attention to what's going on in the world. Don't get distracted. You know, don't let these things that are in the world distract you and come upon you and take your attention off of this work and off of the goal, off of the mission. Because guess what? You don't know what hour the Lord is coming. You know, don't be watching that doomsday clock as if the Lord gonna pull up as soon as it hits 0 seconds on that doomsday clock. Like they're gonna prevent the arrival of the Lord, or so like you predict the arrival of the Lord. No, that's not happening. You need to be watching, as in being on your P's and Q's. What's going on in the world? We are made watchmen, you know, for a reason. But with that, I truly hope this lesson was edifying to you. Akim and Akwah, to listen to truth and sincerity. Till next time, I want to give all glory, honor, and praises unto YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, and QADASH. So next time, I do say, Shalom.